Rated T for teen.
Sega.
Well, we have three very unique factions that you're going to be playing with in Universe at War. Our first one is the Hierarchy. That's the big, kind of heavy, walking alien invader force that's here to pretty much just harvest everything from the planet. They use these giant war machines we call walkers. They stomp around the map, up and down terrain, through water, cliffs. It doesn't matter, nothing stands in their way. When we approached designing the Hierarchy, we really wanted to make a faction. Coming off of Empire at War and Forces of Corruption, you know, there were people that really loved the capital ships in the game, and the space battles, and these epic ships could just take so much punishment and damage. And we thought, you know, can we make a faction, an entire faction that's based on capital ships, like just giant machines, no bases, you know, not a lot of ground building, just these giant weapons of war that are stomping through the map. So instead of having a base, your base is on the back of these units, and you're bringing them with you, building units through them and teleporting them onto the maps, changing out their weapons and their defenses, and really just carrying everything with you. This very kind of nomadic, assaulting alien force. Our next faction up is Novus, who's the high-tech machine race that's followed the Hierarchy to Earth in an attempt to kind of sabotage their operations.
The Novus design was based on sleekness, speed, and them being an ultra-clean race, a robotic race. And we drew a lot of inspiration from the iPod, from the movie iRobot. At first, they were very humanoid because the story of the Novus evolved, and they were, at one point, the race that was left over in the future from mankind. But as the story progressed, they became their own race. And so the units did have a lot of humanistic features to them, you know, the 2 legs, 2 arms. They were built for speed, and they were supposed to be the hit and run tactics. Part of that was the flow ability of the Novus through their towers. So the idea was the Novus didn't have to go from point A to point B just by running or flying. They could build these towers and they could flow through them. The Novus can basically break themselves down, travel as energy, cross the lines, and then reconstitute themselves on the other side.
Our final faction is the Masari, and these are our ancient astronauts. Basically, you know, all those theories about did these ancient aliens visit Earth and, you know, inspire man, the Aztecs, the Egyptians? Yeah, they pretty much did, and these guys are insanely powerful, but yet kind of few in number because they've lost this massive war with the Hierarchy centuries ago. And so these guys are these ancient gods that have extreme technology, and very, very powerful, but kind of a limited number. And they're really fun because they're a very defensive faction where you get to build big bases, lots of defenses, and kind of slowly push out and destroy your enemies. And one of the ways we've done that is through the resource system for the Masari, which is very different than the other factions. They actually don't harvest anything. They just build these structures that generate resources over time, but they're very volatile. So while you can compact your base, the dilemma with the Masari is, well, I could stay in a corner of the map and really fortify, but if I do that, all of my resource generators, which are really volatile, are sitting in my base. And if one of these goes up, it could chain react and, like nuclear blasts, basically detonate your entire base.
Masari were basically an entity that kind of spans both because they have their light mode and then they have their dark mode, which is their armored version. The idea was to generate a look that people can see and appreciate the differences. I personally like the Hierarchy because I'm into aliens, and you know, they are the most animalistic aliens. Basically, they're creatures, monsters, and it's closest to my heart.
Each one plays very, very differently from the other, each other, and they have lots of different dynamics that you can use. And really, with that combined with the research, man, there's so many ways to play this game. It's just incredible.